apparently couples that smoke marijuana together stay together.
Okay.
This is a new one on me. Licensed professional counselor, expert on suicide, depression, Lori Vann. How are you, Lori?
I'm very good, thank you.
All right, if you those that smoke together stay together, what is this story about?
One should say that with any study, correlation is not causation.
Yeah.
That even the authors of the study themselves said more research is needed, and that some of the study goes back to about 20 years ago, and the pot that they used back then is probably not the same kind of pot that we're using now.
Yeah, well, they say the study, because first of all, to find two people smoking medical marijuana that are married probably is a very slim sample.
Well, I mean, they said it's about 630-some-odd couples, but I wonder if there are some other variables that were assessed, such as, well, what are their temperaments like in the first place?
Right.
I mean, is this something they already...
Right.
They're casual people.
Yeah, or maybe you take somebody who's had a history of domestic violence, found that when they smoke marijuana, they don't hit anybody. I mean, I think drugs affect people differently. I mean, some guy might smoke marijuana and hit something. You just don't know. It's an interesting conversation, I guess, but, you know, the bottom line is you deal as a counselor with some very serious issues, and I've touched on this many times. We don't talk about mental illness at all in this country, and there's a lot of it.
Yes. The statistics are really quite sad. Anxiety disorders alone, at any given point in America, about a third of the population struggles with some diagnosable anxiety disorder. Yeah, for women, it's something along the lines of 1 in 4 women will have a major depressive episode at some point in their life.
But you're talking about 33% so 100 million people, Lori Vann, in this country struggle with...
That's what one statistic said. And if you think about it, for anxiety disorders, you have everything from panic attacks. How many people abuse their Xanax? You know, how many people have some kind of specific phobia or a social phobia? How many worry warts do we have out there?
A lot. There's a lot. There's no question about it. So you will never lack for work, Lori. I mean, you will always try and help people. What keeps you going? I mean, is it the satisfaction that you're helping?
That's a big part of it. I mean, it's very gratifying to take someone from being suicidal to now they have hope, and now that they're going back to school or they're going back to work and they're getting on the right path. I mean, it's obviously very gratifying, but just to know that I'm doing something to make a difference.
Still a ginormous stigma. We've come so far and evolved in so many different areas, but yet we still, when somebody needs help or gets counseling, it's still a stigma.
It absolutely is. And I've worked with adults that their families have no idea that they're in counseling, and if their family did know, they're so worried about the backlash they'll get.
Yeah. Well,
there's a lot of culture there.
If an employer knows, they probably would shy away. I mean, that's just how it works. They're worried about it.
Yes, there's that aspect too, because if you try to get a job in the government, you can't be diagnosed with major depression or bipolar, or at least you can't be on those medications.
But there's so many things we can do now to help people, right?
There's so many different options, and that it's not just about getting set on a pill, because the pills don't solve the problem.
Yeah.
Even if it's a genetic condition, you have to have the counseling with it. You've got to get the healthy coping skills that help with the medication aspect.
Yeah, and I know you see all types of people. I have a very strong faith, Lori, and for me it gives me peace. I know people search for that all the time. Yes,
and I do believe that having the spiritual component, and we've seen research on it, that people that have some spiritual beliefs, that they have a higher power, they feel better in life. And I've seen it over and over again with clients that I treat, from when I worked inpatient to my private practice.
Yeah.
Clients that had it is just easier to work with them.
Well, there's so many random things that happen. I mean, how do you explain anything? It's just, otherwise you're constantly, what do they say, worries like a rocking chair, keeps you busy, gets you nowhere. I mean, that's what people just constantly fret about something.
Yes, and to be able to let go of that control. And I work with so many clients with that particular issue of you have to let go of the things that are out of your control.
All right, that's it. Finish, please.
Oh, and well, with the spiritual part, it gives them a hope.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you have people that get depressed and suicide, they've lost the hope factor.
Right. Are you online somewhere?
I do have a website, and I'm working on getting the blog up. It's LoriVannCounseling.com.
VANN, as in drive my van with 2 N's.
Yes.
Lori, a pleasure. Thanks for your insight. I appreciate all you had to say today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
You bet. LoriVannCounseling.com.